They've already got it.
Get in the game. Huddle, everybody, and get ready to bear down Chicago on a winner stay home for the playoffs edition Bears game day edition of the voice of the Chicago sports fan, Chicago Sports Podcast, Monster of the Madhouse. We are coming to you live from Northwest Indiana, Chicago Sports Headquarters with the Hall of Fame menu, Bridges Scoreboard in gorgeous Griffith, Indiana. I'm your Bears game day guy, Brandon Trax. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us as we get you to the pregame tail of the tape for the Bears high noon, high stakes showdown with the New England Patriots at Soldier Field. We've got you covered with the Bears pregame dream team. Not even Don Shula's 1972 17-0 Miami Dolphins can beat. Chicago's quarterback, Jim Miller of Sirius XM NFL Radio and ESPN's 1000, where he delivers some of the NFL's football's best expertise and analysis. And drum roll, please. Now entering the Monsters Game Day studio is Merriam-Webster's football definition of tough. He's the All-American wide receiver from Louisiana State University. He's the Gold Glove Soldier Field speedy merchant. He's a powerful coach of football and life who is inspiring. Powerful proof that if you put your mind and heart to it, no injury or adversity can hold you back. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Madhouse, good old number 82, Wendell Davis. Wendell and Jim, how are you guys doing?
Well, I'm doing great. It's good to be back here. It's a wonderful place to be, and it's good to be with Wendell Davis. Hopefully the Bears receivers will have a little bit more production today. I'm looking for these all-pros to finally show up.
Yeah, you know, I'm happy to be here, too. I was reminded that I've been out to this location before early on in my career, but it's good to be back. But I'm looking for a good game, especially from the receiver.
Speaking of you're not already with us, friends, what are you waiting for? Get over to Bridges and get into Chicagoland's best Bears game day party. We're giving away a 55-inch high-definition Bears television. Jim and Wendell Davis will be signing autographs and posing for pictures all afternoon. And Bridges has got you covered with a Hall of Fame game day food spread, complete with the coldest and most refreshing beer in Chicagoland. Here's the tail of the tape, guys. Patriots are 2-7 versus the Bears 4-4. I mean, way to lead off, man. That's just boring. Bears MGM game line has got the Bears by 6. The over and under is 38.5. All-time series, Patriots lead us 10-5. Last time they met, the Bears came out nowhere to sting the Patriots with the Stone Cold Steve Austin stunning 33-14 2022 romp in Foxborough. Bears defense 12th overall, rushing 8th passing game and 5th in scoring. Fellas, there aren't can't lose games, and then there are games you just can't afford to lose because your job next year might depend on it. Jim, what kind of game is this for head coach Matt Eberflus and the Bears?
This is kind of do or die right here. All right. If you look at the Bears' schedule moving forward, they have the toughest schedule of any team in the National Football League. So if they can't defeat the 2-7 Patriots with a rookie quarterback starting as well, I think that kind of will say it all. Their chance of making the playoffs, they'd have to win out after this. They'd have to win their division.
Yeah.
And their division in the NFC North has the highest point totals of any division in the NFL. Meaning, so Detroit's scoring what? Over 40 points a game. Minnesota's scoring close to 35 points a game. The Bears have to match that. Their offense has not been able to match that. And so that's the difficulty moving forward. It's the schedule, it's the division, and it's the point totals. The Bears have to be complementary, and the Bears have not done that so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, basically, as far as this can't lose game, it is crazy, man. But let's hope we can get it underway. I thought we could get it done with the Cardinals every step of the way. But, 3 field goals later and no touchdowns was ridiculous. But Wendell's, for Bears fans, last week's 29-9 loss to the Arizona Cardinals was harder to watch than an Aaron Rodgers highlight reel. What went so horribly wrong in a game where the Bears knew they couldn't afford to sleepwalk through this?
Well, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what happened. I think the Bears at this point have to play, like Jim said, complementary football throughout this season. They have to play well on offense and defense and special teams. They don't have time to really sit back and kind of try to figure it out. I get disappointed when when simple things you should be doing, right? As going for it on 4th down with the right play in mind, and I call it trying to be too cute sometimes. Sometimes you got to look at the pounding ground, right? When it calls for it. I mean, you're gonna have a time where you can pull out the cute plays, but sometimes I think we outthink ourselves. And as a former player, it gets frustrating, and I'm just hoping that at some point they'll realize that we got to go out and play 11 against 11, right? And all be on the same page. But we'll figure it out hopefully before it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. I agree with you. They're getting way too cute for it. And why would you? I mean, let's just do like Vince Lombardi said. He started every freaking season. Didn't matter if it was a rookie or the best guy on the team. He went right into the locker room. He held a football up and said, "Gentlemen, this is a football." I think right now we need that introduction and just start there. Jim, Matt Eberflus' seat is hotter than a sauna right now. The Bears have famously never fired a coach during the season. It's a bedrock management principle of the McCaskey's family. God knows why. Conflicting reports this week has Ryan Poles telling Fluss it's his job is safe through 2025. That's ridiculous. No matter how the Bears finish 2024. Now, other reports from our friend Dave Kaplan, who's been on the show many times, says Poles would have no qualms firing Fluss with 2 years left on his contract. You know this team. You know how Ryan Poles works, and you know the McCaskey's family. Is there any chance that Matt Eberflus is fired before the Bears' Week 18 season finale with Green Bay?
No, they're going to let it play out. That's what they always do. They let it play out, and they'll see, and they'll let the chips fall where they may, and then they'll make a decision. This is what I said about, say, Stevenson, the corner who just had his issue. I can lose without you. Okay? I can lose without you. So if the McCaskeys, so I'll give you a story about, say, the Rooney family. The Rooneys are, well, they're much like the McCaskeys. They bought the Steelers. Yeah. It's been in their history, their family history for the entire time. I remember Dan Rooney came down to our locker room. Dan Rooney Sr., who is in the Hall of Fame, all right, he said, "I just gave the coach a 2-year extension. All of you will be gone. The coach is staying here." That coach was obviously Chuck Noll. Okay? Chuck Noll. And then he did it with Bill Cowher. And he's still doing it today with Mike Tomlin. 3 coaches in their entire history of their organization. Because the ownership knows I can lose without you. The coach is important. What comes first? Is it the coach or the player? Oh, the players win games. No, the coach puts it in place. The coach chooses the players, right? This is Bill Parcells. I choose the groceries, correct? So the coach decides it. And that's what the Bears will have. That's going to be their choice. And my point is this. This team has never fractured under Matt Eberflus until last week. They have always played hard under Eberflus. Nobody has pointed the finger. Now I think the dust needs to settle, and how this team plays towards the end of the year, that's going to determine Coach Eberflus's fate.
Man, I'll tell you what, a lot of dust needs to settle and some tumbleweed in my head, because you just mind blew me, brother. That's a lot to unpack there. So let's move on to Wendell. Wendell, you played for a famously passionate coach who wore and coached with his heart on his sleeve in the great Iron Mike Ditka. This guy once shattered his hand going Muhammad Ali on a locker after a tough loss. How would Iron Mike have handled back-to-back heartbreaking losses like the Bears have had against Washington, Arizona the last 2 weeks?
Well, it's hard to say, but it would be a lot different than what Eberflus is doing right now. And you're right. Mike was a passionate coach. He, a former player, loves to win, hates to lose. And, I think he probably handled it differently. But I just what Jim said about going back to Pittsburgh. I look at the consistency there at Pittsburgh, and that's what separates them from every team in the NFL to me. To have 3 coaches over these many years, that tells you a lot and tells you about consistency. And so I think, back to your question, Mike Ditka, he probably came down and, you feel it. And I'm not saying Mike Eberflus is not doing. I mean that Eberflus is not doing that.
Yeah.
But Mike Ditka will let you know, where we stand, where everybody stands. Right. Everybody stands. He would call people out because he knew how to motivate people in his own way. And but like I said, I don't know what Eberflus is doing, but it definitely not what Mike Ditka would.
Jim and Wendell, what if everything does? Anything that does Matt Eberflus have to change in the way that he coaches? What does he exactly have to do to prepare and manage this Bears team? Is there anything different that you see that you'd like for him to do?
Well, I mean, you would like to think all the work is done up to this point, right? We've had OTAs, we had the draft, we had free agency. All these guys have gone through the OTAs, and you're preparing for what? A championship season. And you have to prepare weekly for Championship Sunday, and that's to win. You have to prepare accordingly as a player. You have your responsibility. The coaches have their responsibility. Their responsibility is to put you in the best place to win, or the best chance to win. And you as a player have to go out and execute that game plan that you believe wholeheartedly in, that, yes, this is the path to victory. What do we have to do to prepare to victory? And all these things have to be covered, from your base offense to your third down offense to your goal line offense to your Hail Mary situations, right? All that has to be covered as a coach to prepare your players to where they feel confident that, yeah, this is a championship game plan. I believe in this game plan, and I plan on going out here to win. I'm going to give my best effort, and I've prepared myself accordingly that we are going to win today. I'm going to do my job for the rest of my team, that they know I got their backs and my teammates have my back, and we're in this together, and together we're going to win. That's the goal every week, and it never changes.
I agree wholeheartedly. The head's in the barn now. The season started, the head's in the barn.
Yeah.
What the coaches have to do, what I feel they have to do, as a good coach, a good coaching staff, even players, you have to make adjustments. You have to learn how to make adjustments during the season, during games, During the games, you got to learn how to make adjustments. If you're not making adjustments, then you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. It's just like you and I as a quarterback and receiver, right? We see a different formation come up. We see a different coverage. We make an adjustment, a sight adjustment. You make those adjustments and you move on.
I've got something to say to add what Wendell said. Very important. Marty Booker. I wish I could have thrown to Wendell. Marty Booker. I told Marty Booker and Des White, I will be here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. You want to come throw? We're throwing at 9 a.m. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Marty Booker showed up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Marty Booker caught 107 balls and went to the Pro Bowl that year. Because every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The hay was in the barn, as Wendell said. I knew what Marty Booker was going to do before Marty Booker knew what he was going to do. All right, I knew him so inside and out. His idiosyncrasies, when he dropped his fanny, boom, he's planting, he's going. I knew it. It's body language, but I knew him so well. I was like, hey, man, he's double covered. No, Marty's going to get this ball because Marty's going to catch it. Because Marty's going to get open. And whoever gets open gets the rock. And Marty got the rock because he got open.
Jim, looking at the Patriots and Drake May, he's given their offense new life.
Yeah, he's talented.
Since taking over the starting job a few weeks ago. The number 3 overall pick in the April's draft threw for 206 yards and eluded defenders for 12 seconds to rifle a beautiful touchdown to Ramondre Stevenson that forced an overtime in the Pats' 20-17 extra time loss to the Tennessee Titans. He also ran for 95 yards, but misfired for a fatal OT interception. May is no doubt a work in progress, but how dangerous is he at this point of his young career for the Patriots, Jim?
Very talented young quarterback. I interviewed all the quarterbacks coming out in the draft. This guy knew more X's and O's of anybody. You want to know why? Because his dad played quarterback at North Carolina also. This kid's a very good athlete. He's what we describe as country strong. This guy just wakes up and he can throw a ball 80 yards in the air. He's got a very strong arm. It's very powerful, and he's a very good athlete. He's a better runner than what Caleb Williams is, believe it or not. That's why he's already rushed for a touchdown. This guy is actually the Patriots, other than Ramondre Stevenson, he's their leading rusher in the last 3 games. So very talented young quarterback, very good at the X's and O's. He's just not on a very talented team, much like Caleb. All right, he needs his teammates to support him. All right, he doesn't have that supporting staff. That's why they've waited to put him in, but now he's ready. But you see flashes of his talent. His talent is extraordinary.
Wendell, you wrote the book on how to overcome and persevere through career-threatening injuries. What advice do you give to these young players battling through some serious injuries that could threaten their career, brother?
One main piece of advice I would give them is you can't do it alone. If you have family, if you have teammates that could help you through it, that would help you through getting through injuries and any setbacks that you have in your career. But you can't do it alone. And one of the things you have to remember what you're doing. I mean, you're playing football, which is a collision sport, very violent, and there's risk. And you take that risk and you accept that risk, but you can't do it alone. You got to have family with you. You got to have your teammates with you. You have to have your friends with you to help you pull through those tough times.
What about you, Jim? You battled a couple. What do you have out there, brother?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to get my right hip replaced in January. I've already had my left one replaced. Yeah, it's you kind of know what you're getting into, but I think I've said this before. Football is, everybody thinks it's a career. It's not a career. It's a window to your career. All right. You got to be preparing for life after football. Even some of these big contracts these players are getting, some of them are generational wealth, but they're not all fully guaranteed. So, it's like the situation with Tua Tagovailoa. That's a very serious situation, with him. It's very sensitive. And granted, he's the one that's decided to play, but you got to understand, he brought his whole family with him. he feels responsible for everybody. They all moved from Hawaii to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where he played football and got NIL money and all that. Now here he's in the pros, and now he's got this health issue, but yet he's got this big contract because he's supporting everybody. That's why he's making the decision to play. You know, it is up to him, but hopefully those family members, those loved ones that are around him that Wendell is alluding to will guide him to the best decision possible for everybody.
Guys, really quickly, there's a lot of people out here right now, and I see a couple veterans out there. Everybody that's a veteran, raise their hand. Military veteran.
There they are.
Let's give all of them a big round of applause for fighting for our country. You know, today's a special day for the Chicago Bears in observance for the veterans that fought for our country. Every day is an observance day for me as a combat veteran for the United States Navy. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for fighting for our country, for voting, and thank you for just being here and supporting us. As a Navy veteran, Veterans Day holds a deep personal significance to me. It's a day to reflect on the sacrifices made by those who served and honor the commitment of everyone who has worn the uniform. Watching the Chicago Bears join in honoring veterans on this day is incredibly meaningful to me. It's not just about the game. It's about recognizing the values that veterans and players share: courage, teamwork, and dedication. The Bears tribute reminds us that even off the field, respect and gratitude for our service carry forward. Moments like these remind me of the pride I feel, not just for my team, but for my country. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you for your service, Brandon.
Jim, let's get right back into it. Let's go to the money line. What's the X factor matchup that will determine today's game, brother?
Well, I didn't like last week how James Conner of the Cardinals kind of ran through the Chicago Bears defense. That injury to Andrew Billings is a lot bigger than what people recognize. He is their run stopper. He's their wrecker on first and second down. So the defense is going to be challenged. How many times have I said this? The offense has to now show up. They have to score points. The offense this second half of the season has to average about 30 points a game for them to win. Not today, but it's got to start today. The offense has to start doing stuff. Otherwise, they've got no shot in the division, and their opponents suggest that they're done.
Wow. Boys,
it's time for the Miller Time Bears bottom line. What are your stone cold lead pipe locks on who wins today's game and why? We'll start with you, Wendell.
Oh boy, I you know what? I don't get into that anymore.
Yeah,
it ruins my day, man. So I can't, it's hard for me to predict.
Hey, let's let Jim ruin his. What do you got, brother?
I've got it. All right. The Bears are down both their tackles, right? Darnell Wright's out, and of course Braxton Jones is out on the left. So that means 𝐷𝐿𝐒 is up there. All right. So get to know who Josh Uche is. He's a very good pass rusher in New England, traded to Kansas City, but now they've got other guys. Anthony Jennings. They just put a claim in on, guess who? Yannick Ngakoue. Ooh, former Bear. All right. So he could be up and running for them as well. So it's the pass rush. All right. One, the Bears, they got to be able to stop the run. If they can't stop Ramondre Stevenson, who is a beast. Ramondre Stevenson is 7th in the NFL in scoring touchdowns. Everything goes through their run game, and now they're starting to grow their pass game with this young Drake May. Nobody knows. Can anybody name a receiver in New England Patriots?
No.
You know who their leading receiver is?
No.
Hunter Henry, their tight end.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you surround a young quarterback, i.e. Caleb Williams, that the Bears haven't done? You do it with a run game, and you do it with your tight end. The Patriots are doing that. That's why Hunter Henry leads their team in receptions and touchdowns, and Ramondre Stevenson is 7th in the league in scoring touchdowns. All right, so they can run the football. The Bears have to be able to stop the run because it's coming, and now the Bears offense. All right, what can the Bears do offensively? What do they do well? Does anybody know? What do they do well?
Run the football.
When they decide to run the ball, they actually support their young quarterback. Their 4 wins at home were with DeAndre Swift. It's DeAndre Swift and the play action pass. If they do that, the Patriots should win this game, or the Bears should win this game. Patriots only average 13 points total per game on offense. Bears just have to score 17. If they score 17 points, they'll win. That's not a big ask. That's not a big ask to score 17 points.
Right.
The Bears haven't averaged 20 all year. One game, they averaged over 20.
This coming from a guy that still holds the record of 13-3 and put the whole team on his back, fellas. He knows what he's talking about.
So can I ask you, Jim? So why? I mean, when I was coaching,
they'd average more if they didn't hand off to Doug Kramer. They'd average more. Let's take that play out.
Yeah. But what I was going to ask you is,
like you said,
why
don't
does
get
the
cute with it.
Bears have such a struggle trying to identify who they are offensively? I mean, like you said, if they don't have an identity right now, and they don't seem like they want to recognize that they have to run the ball.
Look at that.
They have to run the ball.
We addressed this last week. What did Mike Ditka say? They throw around dimes like they're manhole covers. They had the guy in the building. They interviewed him. His name was Cliff Kingsbury. He's the OC of the Washington Commanders that are 7-2 with Jaden Daniels, a rookie quarterback who is tearing up the NFL. Cliff Kingsbury coached Caleb Williams out at USC. He was the guy the Bears should have hired. That was the guy. They missed the boat. Now now the OCs apologized twice to the team for bad play calls. Enough. Hire the right guy.
Friends, that's a wrap on Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse. Bear down, Chicago Bears Patriots pregame show. Live from Bridges Scoreboard, your Northwest Indiana Chicago Sports headquarters with the Hall of Fame menu in beautiful Griffith, Indiana. Don't forget, we will be back with you Monday night as we kick off Bears-Packers week and break down everything that went right and wrong today versus the Patriots for the Bears on a Mega Monday football night in Chicago on Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse. For Jim Miller and Wendell Davis, I'm the punky left tackle, Brandon Trex Hyatt. Enjoy the game, everyone, and let's all bear down on a glorious Bears victory.
Yes, they should win today.